Thank you everyone for joining this call and this webinar. Really excited to have you all here. Uh, really quick, the topic we're discussing today is about how do we generate profitable experiences, aligning the UX design and AI strategies within our business context. Um, I'm sure each one of us has called into contact centers, for one reason or the other, and you must have seen as years have progressed, the content available to the agents have become smarter, right? The design of the systems on their side is able to provide you a very pointed, individualistic kind of an experience. And the AI further facilitates use cases like the one that I just mentioned to have greater impact, to have faster resolution, and inadvertently it affects the profitability for the company as well. So that's one example that I thought I would share that most of you would be able to relate with. And at K-Square, we have been very privileged to um, engage with our customers, not only from the initiation of the strategy, but to see through the execution and implementation of this particular strategy. So here to discuss this today are a couple of us from K-Square. You're seeing Anup Jaykumar on the call along with me. Anup heads our design experience practice at K-Square, and I'm responsible for all customer interactions and for all our customers and prospects. So in my capacity as Chief Growth Officer, we are both based in Dallas. We basically engage with our clients to develop such strategies. Let me give you a very high-level introduction to K-Square and who we are for those who are not familiar with us. Anup, if you move on to the next slide really quick, it encapsulates, at a high level, just some facts and data about us. We are a 10-plus-year-old organization, very niche and very focused on design, user experience as one of the aspects, digital engineering, transformation, and Salesforce and data. So those are some specific areas that we work and focus on. We are a global company while headquartered in Dallas, Texas. We have footprint from nearshore. That's predominantly our differentiator for mapping to our clients, predominantly in the US and North American geography, to have the same time zone coverage. And we also have coverage from our India locations for around the clock and follow the sun model. So just a snapshot of some of our clients that we are privileged to work with. If any of you have shopped at 7-Eleven and you see if you're a member of the 7 Rewards program, in fact, you're looking at the person who designed that. Anup has been one of the partners on that particular initiative, and that was built by K-Square in partnership with 7-Eleven. So just some of the other clientele that we work with. Without further ado, I will go ahead and turn this over to Anup. Anup, on to you for our main discussion.
Thank you, Sumit. Thank you so much for the introduction. And thanks everyone who joined today. I see 15 people, so I'm sure we have like many more people that have registered in, so hopefully they will be trickling in. So I'm happy to engage with you today, and I would like this to be like a conversation. So please engage as much as possible on this conversation. So that's the best way we all can get something out of this conversation today. So hopefully that sets the stage for our conversation today. My background is user experience. So my focus would primarily be after I talk about a little bit about the value that AI is generating today. It will be focused on how AI and UX can work together and how UX can support this change landscape. So that will be the focus today. Any questions before we begin? Okay, so let's jump right in. So before we start this conversation, I would like to get kind of a show of hands from people. You can react with emojis, etc., just to get a sense in terms of who the participants are. So the first area that I would call out would be user experience or research and design. So can people show a thumb or something like on the chat on this on the reaction aspect? Oh, okay, good. I see one person, user experience. Great. Anyone else? Okay. So in terms of product, are there any product folks here? Okay, I see one hand for product as well. How about engineering? Okay, don't see any engineering hands up. How about business? Okay, so it's mostly seems to be user experience. And are there any students here? Just so that we get a sense. Okay. Okay, so we'll see. I think we'll figure out as what is important to you. So the reason why I asked you is because we can focus on the conversations that are more important to you. So great. So that might be a student who's raised their hand up. So welcome everyone. So as I mentioned, I would request that you participate actively in this conversation so that we all can get something or the other from this. So let's move on to the first poll question here, which is basically what role does AI play in your own day-to-day work? And you can indicate this on the chat with numbers 1 to 4. If you feel that AI does not play any role in your work, you can say 1 all the way through 4 in increasing order. Okay, so so Daniela has a better way of getting this response, so she's provided a poll itself. So great. So I see one response already. Okay, a few responses coming in. Please participate, all of you here. This way, it will benefit all of us. So and I would like this to be a conversation as well. So I don't mind if you interrupt me as long as it is part of this conversation. And for the questions that are outside the primary scope of our conversation today, Daniela will keep a track of that, and we will try to answer them towards the end of the conversation. And if we end up finishing up all the time that we have, we will try to get back to you as an email response. Okay. Currently a 2 saying. So let's see. So 2 is like 4 and 3 is 4 as well. So that is interesting. So this is still early days of AI, and it's heartening to see that there is interest among people, and people feel that there is AI playing a part in their day-to-day work. Let's also look at this additional question, which is basically, does AI increase or decrease worker performance? So that is the next question. So can people answer that as well? 1 to 5, 1 is major negative and 5 is major positive effect. So people say they mostly use it to generate, one person is saying they mostly use it to generate text. Interesting. 4, okay, so minor positive effect. 5, okay, major positive effect. Okay. Okay, so it's interesting. So there is a study which just got published in 2023, which is from Harvard, MIT Sloan, as well as from UPenn, which basically Kellogg School. Sorry, not Kellogg School, like UPenn School, forgetting the name. It is basically Wharton, my apologies. So Wharton, Kellogg, and MIT has published a study along with BCG, which basically states that for AI's skill area, where AI is actually powerful in giving good quality responses, the quality of the responses in general has increased for worker performance. And this is studying BCG consultants. So mind you, these are knowledge consultants who are highly skilled consultants. So for where AI, within AI frontier, their performance has increased. But for a task which has got AI skill is like less, or less below the AI frontier, the performance of those workers have drastically reduced as well. So what does this really mean to us? Can anybody tell me what does this really mean to us? Please open your mic and speak. Okay, seems like there is a little bit of starting trouble from getting responses, but that's okay. I can start with this conversation, and hopefully I'm hoping that all of you will join in on this conversation, because that's how we can get value from it. So please be vocal. Please, you don't need to use the chat. You can. Oh, mic is deactivated. Okay. So that's the trouble. Okay, my bad. Okay, so let's see it on the chat, and I will be your voice today. If you put it on the chat, I can raise your point here. The value is in a conversation rather than a monologue. So that's why I'm hoping that people can actively participate either through chat or through the mic. If we can figure out the mic, that will be great. If not, please indicate on the chat. So what does this really tell us in terms of AI being increasing the value of the output or efficiency of the output, like about 40 basis points, and it decreasing it as well in areas where AI is weak at. It just means that we need to be diligent in terms of looking at which, yes, we need to be diligent in areas in terms of where we actually utilize AI and where we don't utilize AI. So I think that's what it is telling us. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with what Jensen Huang has told about AI recently. Are you familiar with his assertions about AI? It got like a lot of press coverage recently. So I'm hoping that at least some people are familiar with this. Yes. Okay, great. So I will play a short little clip of his assertion, and it is very powerful. So for the benefit of the people who have not yet heard this. So let me play this.
I'm going to say something, and it's going to sound completely opposite of what people feel. Over the course of the last 10 years, 15 years, almost everybody who sits on a stage like this would tell you it is vital that your children learn computer science. Everybody should learn how to program. And in fact, it's almost exactly the opposite. It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program, and that the programming language is human. Everybody in the world is now a programmer. You now have a computer that will do what you tell it to do. This is the miracle of artificial intelligence.
So what do you think about this assertion? Do you guys believe it? On the chat, please. New AI tech is based on nodes, so people can understand the context, but no need to learn codes. That is good. That is great. Other people are typing as well, so I'll give it a moment for people to actually respond here, and then I will voice my thought as well. So some people are typing, as I can see. Okay. Seems like it is a long text, so let it come up. But I think but I think this the promise of AI is is vast. It can actually, we are evolving a lot, need to improve and adapt to what's coming, even if that means learn how to manage and improve the current AI. Yes, so we are improving, and there are many facets of the different facets of our lives that are getting impacted with AI.
I want to say something.
But what is interesting or heartening is that this will be a huge achievement for humans, because imagine everybody is now a programmer, which means that everybody can come up with, if they are good at something, they can come up with something that that will improve the lives of people. So that is going to be a vast improvement from what used to be the case. And for people who still doubt whether it is still a possibility whether AI can actually be a good programmer, I would invite you to listen to this next video, which is about Devin, who is the first AI programmer. So please listen to this.
Hey, I'm Scott from Cognition AI, and today I'm really excited to introduce you to Devin, the first AI software engineer. Let me show you an example of Devin in action. I'm going to ask Devin to benchmark the performance of Llama on a couple of different API providers. From now on, Devin is in the driver's seat. First, Devin makes a step-by-step plan of how to tackle the problem. After that, it builds the whole project using all the same tools that a human software engineer would use.
So Devin has its own,
command line,
as it's also got its own browser,
its own code editor.
It can actually do many of the things that people do. So that is the point. So I will share this presentation with you so you can see this later.
Use the browser.
But this is already happening. That is the point. Tech world limitations are now in the lower intro point. So more tools, more opportunities can be created. Okay. So can you explain what that means? Tech world limitations are now in the lower intro point. So more tools, more opportunities can be created. Okay, programming will still remain important to learn, which makes sense. I'm not saying that the capability of any human would be reduced with AI. It is just that for people who, like, similar to like how Canva democratized PowerPoints or like that presentations, it doesn't mean that PowerPoint is out of the business. It is there, but Canva is there as well. And there are other tools that are there as well. So might be that is the case where, you know, you will have a proliferation of tools that will help you do things that in a better kind of fashion than what used to be. Yes. So we don't need to utilize developers' language, because that is the whole point, is that you can interact with computers in human language. Okay, 15 minutes. Thank you. So that is one thread. And the other thread is that this is an interesting thread as well, which is that over the last decade, from 2014 to 2024, the cost of computing has drastically reduced. It has reduced to 1 by 1 millionth of a time from 2014. So that is another interesting development, which means that computers can actually now go at really hard problems and try to solve them as well. Right? So what are some of those problems? Like space, cancer care, climate, all these huge problems that we thought we don't have enough resources and ability to kind of solve is now within reach. So that's what this development in both these fronts, like in terms of cost as well as in terms of abilities, has lent us. So that's why it is significant, right? We can really invest infinite amount of resources to solve the most challenging problems that humans are facing today. So that is exciting. And because of this, a huge amount of value will be created as well, which is why we are living in a golden age, I would say, where all our skills, any of the skills that you have, would be amplified and will be supported with AI. But then let me be the devil's advocate for a second and say, is this really counterintuitive? So when cost of computing is reducing and becoming zero, does it also mean that the perceived value also become zero, because remember, unless there is perceived value for something, it will be hard for any business to come in the picture and extract value out of it and make it into a viable business model so that a for-profit entity can exist, right? So is this counterintuitive to that extent? Can anybody answer that for me on chat? Okay. What I think is that the perceived value will not diminish, because the value is in how people are interacting with computers in natural language, interact with them. And if you can see, like most of the tools today, any of the tools that you see today, they also already provide this AI interaction mechanism where you can interact with it in the natural language, and you will see responses to it in ways which the tools respond to. Like if it is a design tool, it will respond to in the form of designs. If it is a diagramming tool, it will show diagrams. If it is like a language editor, it will show language as the response. So most of the tools are starting to adopt to this new way of communicating with humans, which is like through natural language. Right. So that perceived value of natural language to interact with computers would exist, and all these value will be harnessed by companies which processes information in the cloud. So the computing power is what is going to be charged for in terms of our usage of it, and that would be the value that we pay for the companies, and it should be a win-win for everybody, because we would be able to do more things than what we used to do before in a more efficient fashion as well. Okay, any questions here? Okay, because of this, all fields will evolve and design will evolve as well. How will design evolve? Can anybody tell me how design would evolve? Okay, so the first effect would be the rapidly. So, okay, so somebody is actually typing here. So let's see what they're saying. I wish people could speak up on this using the mic. Unfortunately, that is not available. By generating quicker proposals to the prompt, maybe images, mockup structures, wireframes. Okay, yeah. So that is one aspect of it. If you can see this image here, these are different facets of design supported by different tools. So for research, you can see a bunch of tools. For design, a bunch of tools. For efficiency aspects of design and research, you see a bunch of tools, and you also see tools in the intersection points here. Rapid idea generation, yes. So all these facets of design will actually be improved as well, similar to some of the other businesses. So design will evolve because of the advent of AI, and it will evolve in three ways. In the near term, design science knowledge or know-how of people knowing the having a knowledge of human-computer interactions or human factors or that kind of knowledge, they will come into the fore. I will tell you why that is the case. And over time, tools will replace this knowledge because tools will get more and more smarter, and they will replace this knowledge, and they will provide this ability, and it will democratize design to a degree where many of the business folks would also be able to come to the picture, and they would be able to do some amount of design. Remember, it is similar to what I've talked about programming, and the one user rightly pointing out here, saying that it will not diminish the value of programmers. It will be there, but it will be amplified because many more people would be able to do more things than what they used to do. So that's what will happen in design field as well. So design will become more ubiquitous, and business skills, it will become one of those business skills in the future. And all facets of design will evolve, like desk research, conceptual sketches, like somebody was saying, rapid idea generation, or visual design, ability to create, copy and content, design systems. All these aspects will be for the better because of the improvements in AI. But then there is one major risk that is going to hamper all of us, which is, can anybody tell me what is that major risk? I'm not talking about things like privacy. I'm not talking about things like attribution. So all those things will be there, and in due time it will all be solved. But what is a challenging thing from a programming or development standpoint is that as prototyping becomes, the cost of prototyping becomes zero, people will be tempted to do in-market testing. And that is actually a major challenge. Ideas becoming more generic, yes. Quality depreciation, yes. Those are all going to be there. But imagine there is no barrier for somebody to create a product. I prototype it today and I am able to launch that product today itself. That is the risk. So you would have, similar to the .com era, there would be a huge amount of products in the market. Okay, so the mics are coming up. I am happy to see that. So if people want to speak up, I would be like, we're really glad that we can have a conversation here. So that is the risk, right? So you prototype today and you're able to come up with a product and put it out in the market today. There will be a sea of bad products that are going to be in the market. And similar to the .com era, when all these usability skills were pertinent to making good products, that era is coming again. For the next decade or so, we will have that skill being a very important skill, is what I'm thinking. And when the mics are enabled, I would love to hear from you as to what you think would happen in that landscape. Okay. Yeah, so as I mentioned, people will be tempted to do in-market testing. And this is an illustration of how that will be. Imagine that this person who's trying to enter the room as the user and the door as your product that you are tinkering with and making changes to every other day, rather. So this is how it will look like. See the guy, imagine the door to be opening in a certain fashion, but it opened in a different fashion. And this keeps repeating. Every time the guy tries to enter the room, the door opens in a different fashion, which is confusing. And it is makes that process very complex as well from the user's perspective. I'll share this deck with you so you can see this video later on and enjoy it in your free time. So what is the bigger problem here? When something like that happens, we would have a sea of non-usable products, as I mentioned. Okay, so somebody has their hand up. Please ask your question.
Hi, do you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good morning, Anup. Well, what I understood here is that the user, it is used to have some certain experience that is similar to other ones that they already know as the common doors, right? So whenever he sees the door that opens in a different way, maybe he's wondering why does this work this way, right? Because maybe he doesn't comprehend why is the experience like that. So maybe that's a point right now where we are with the AI products, and why does it work like this way? Because we're not used to it, but maybe with the time we're going to get used to them.
That's actually a great thought, Maria. Thank you for voicing it. But the point that I was trying to make is that there would be a sea of unusable products similar to the .com boom, and then this kind of skill will be in high demand. And how can research and design help in this particular context? This will be through supporting people make good decisions, because gut decisions, as has been proven by neuroscience, is that gut decisions are problematic And this research and design can actually support decisions with research and strategy ideation and execution with design as well. So those are the two ways in which research and design can help alleviate this problem. So one would be like supporting good business decision. And why is that important? That is because, as I mentioned, gut decisions are less reliable, and there is enough neurobiological evidence that says that decisions can be subjective and skills can vary, and people who have like strong connection between their ventromedial prefrontal cortex and the striatum can actually make strong, better decisions. And successful angel investors are in this particular category, where people are able to make good, sound decisions utilizing their white matter that connects these two different areas of the brain. This is actually the theory behind it, but like from a technical standpoint, from a everyday example standpoint, there are illustrations of this as well. I can show you one example here, which is basically from Amazon, where there is a Galaxy tab here, and I would like you to tell me whether this is a good deal or not. Can somebody tell me come on the mic and tell me whether this is a good deal or not? Just by looking at it, right? And also the details that this page gives you. Can anybody tell me whether this is a good deal? Okay, there is some silence here. So then, yeah, it is a good deal. Somebody saying it is a good deal. Why is it a good deal? It is a good deal primarily because of the following reasons. One is that there is an anchoring effect here, which basically shows that the product is about 20% less than the actual price. So you get a feeling that, okay, I am getting some value out of it. And two, this is a widely reviewed product, and it's got like high ratings, like 4.7 out of 5 out of 6,800 ratings. Yeah, ratings among other details seem to correlate. Yes, so that is there. And also the scarcity, the product, there's only like 2 of them left in the stock. So I need to know that I need to jump on this deal immediately, otherwise it will not exist, right? So that is another reason why people might feel it's a good deal. But then I'm showing another screen, which might make you think for a second. What does it tell you? It's not such a great deal anymore, right? Because there is another website that's showing the price of it, which is slightly lower. So cognitive biases can really trick our minds into bad decisions. So we need a process for decision making using research and design. So that is the takeaway here. And you might tell me that this doesn't happen in day-to-day work, but then I can also illustrate with an example of somebody trying to make a decision at work. Say, for example, imagine you are a CDC director, and can you tell me which program would you implement here? Program A, these are the attributes of program A, which basically says that you can save 200 lives with program A and 400 people will die. And program B, 33% chance of saving all 600 people, 66% possibility of saving no one, and 33% chance that no people will die, and 66% probability that all 600 people will die. So which of these programs would you choose if you were the decision maker here? Okay, people are typing, so that I'll give them like one moment to type and give the response. B, yeah, so I think if you are humane and if you think that there is an ability to save some people's life, most people would choose B because there is an ability, there is a chance for saving lives. But actually, if you look at this, program A and program B are the same. It is just presented in a slightly different fashion. So this is why cognitive biases are dime a dozen in everyday lives, and who presents this also matters. So if you are not somebody who is a trained researcher and a designer who actually understands the statistics behind it, it would be a hard decision for you, and you might make a decision which, when you think that it is, you're doing something good, you're actually not doing something good as well, right? So that's why research and design should be enabled in organization, and it should also be unbiased to support quality decisions. Yeah, so so who would have thought, right? Who would have thunk? So there are about 200 such cognitive biases that are there in everyday lives that affects our day-to-day decision, and that is why we should have a seat at the table from a research and design standpoint, and that research and design should also be enabled to make support unbiased decision making in organizations. So how can research and design help businesses? Decision making needs to be free of cognitive biases. And because of that, organization needs to enable research and design to support unbiased decision making. And this is another way of illustrating this. If you are familiar with the concept of demand curve is actually nothing but a willingness of a bunch of customers to pay, a bunch of customers in the sense different segments of users to pay. And the area underneath the curve is the willingness, is a potential industry earnings. The area under the willingness of all these customers to pay is a potential industry earnings. And potential industry earnings will determine whether you are able to maximize the value within a company in terms of services and products that you put out there. And competition and substitution will be trying to reduce this area. And you would be trying to increase this area by doing discovery research, through validation, hypotheses, and trying to kind of prove something and trying to find out whether that will actually increase the willingness of somebody to pay for a product, and that will push that curve out. And another way in terms of pushing the curve out would be to provide complementary services, extending the ecosystem with demand side, increasing returns, solving for latent needs, and also increasing the efficiency in your engineering process and optimizing those processes, which will reduce the cost to create or source a raw material, which will also increase that area. So all these are techniques that we employ in user experience to support either with research or with design. When in convergent thinking, where we have ideation, in divergent thinking, where you come up with a lot of evidence and try to understand why something is that case, and then that will support your hypothesis. So both these convergent thinking and divergent thinking would support decision making. And these are some of the examples in which design and research can support your decision making. And these are like 10 different facets of research and design in your process, which will support validating or invalidating hypothesis, which is at the highest level. And then you can do blue sky research to come up with like n number of ideas. You can prioritize among these many product ideas with customer research. You can do user research and requirements elicitation with winning ideas to kind of do like usability testing of those winning ideas. You can create information architecture. You can come up with conceptual design. You can be iterating those conceptual design with usability studies. You can come up with visual direction, and you can validate those visual direction again with customer research. And then once you have summative once you have detailed design, you can do summative research of that to validate whether the initial goals that you set at the beginning of the project are still valid, and if you're able to sort of achieve those. and you can support continuous discovery habits through in-market diary studies and contextual inquiries and such as well. And as I mentioned earlier, like there is also this value chain enhancement ability through process engineering as well, which can play a part in increasing the pie as well. So all these 10 different facets of utilizing research and design can support your decision making in business and can support your work tremendously. Any questions here? I would just want to leave you with like one more additional thought, which is basically that mind has an ability to go from stressed to contented and from bored to excited, and design and research are the capabilities that will help you move you from as a user from this stress level to contented level and from bored level to excited level. Because imagine somebody is stressed with an unfamiliar interface, like that person who was trying to enter the room, right? So he was stressed after a few times trying to enter the room. But then if you are able to provide familiar experiences to people through your interfaces, that will make it easy for people to actually enter this room / user experience that we are providing with the user to the user. And that can reduce that stress level of cortisol and create that serotonin, which will increase that contented state. And similarly, gamification and things where people are able to sort of contribute to their engagement. Like say, for example, on LinkedIn, you see like many likes to your content that you are providing, and then people would actually be more encouraged to post similar content, which is like another kind of gamification, which makes you feel excited. So all these are by design you can improve, and the designers and researchers have that tremendous ability to do that. So that's the final piece of thought that I want to leave you with a few takeaways, which is that AI will create a huge amount of value. Design will evolve and become a business skill. Role of design in organizations is to support and facilitate convergent, divergent thinking. Gut decision making is problematic and error prone. Organizations should enable unbiased decision making with research and design, and proper application of design thinking can really facilitate value creation. So this is what I would like to leave you all with. If you have questions, I'm happy to hang around and answer those questions.